Lone rancher saves 7 hanged Apache girls, then discover. A terrible plot, best Wild West stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful Wild West stories. The sun dipped low behind the sandstone cliffs, spilling long shadows over the canyon as Cole Maddox guided his weary horse along the narrow trail. He had spent the day repairing fences on the far edge of his land, hoping to return home before dark. But something in the wind made him slow his pace. The air felt wrong, too still, too heavy, like the desert itself was holding its breath. Cole paused, listening. A faint rustling came from ahead, followed by a low groan that didn't belong to any animal he knew. He nudged his horse forward, his hand instinctively drifting toward the rifle slung across his back. As he rounded a bend, his heart lurched. Under a twisted cottonwood tree stood a horrifying sight. 7 Apache girls hanging by their wrists, their feet barely touching the ground. Their bodies trembled, their faces streaked with dust, pain, and fear. These were not corpses swinging in the wind. These were children forced into slow suffering. Cole leapt from his horse, a bolt of fury driving him forward. He pulled out his hunting knife and cut the first girl down, catching her limp body before she hit the dirt. She gasped for air, her throat bruised and raw. The others whimpered as he hurried from one to the next, lowering each girl with gentle urgency until all 7 lay shivering on the ground. The youngest clung to his jacket, her eyes wide and haunted. She whispered in broken English mixed with Apache words, telling him they had been taken from their village at night, dragged through the desert, and strung up like animals. They weren't meant to die. Immediately, whoever did this wanted them alive but helpless. Before Cole could ask more, a deep, echoing horn sounded from the ridge above. The girls stiffened in terror. Cole spun toward the cliffs, spotting dark silhouettes forming along the rim. Men wearing long black dusters and wide-brimmed hats, their faces hidden behind scarves. They didn't move like Apache warriors. They moved like hunters closing in on prey. "Get behind the rocks," Cole ordered, pulling his rifle free. He planted himself between the girls and the advancing riders, his jaw tight, his heartbeat steady despite the danger. The masked men descended the slope on horseback, rifles glinting in the fading light. Dust swirled around them, as though the desert itself recognized their evil. Cole braced for the coming fight, knowing he was outnumbered. But he would not abandon the terrified children behind him. The canyon trembled with hoofbeats as the riders charged forward, and Cole took aim, ready to face whatever darkness had brought them here. Cole brought the 7 rescued girls to his ranch, tucked deep inside the Black Mesa. Countryside, a lonely stretch of land surrounded by rocky ridges and whispering pines. The girls huddled together in silence as he guided them inside, their eyes darting to every shadow as though expecting danger to leap out at any moment. Cole lit a fire in the stone hearth, its warm glow filling the room, but not one of them relaxed. Even after he offered them water and blankets, they kept glancing at the windows, flinching at the creak of the floorboards, whispering among themselves in hurried Apache words. One name repeated over and over, carried on their trembling voices, the Black Wolves. Cole had heard rumors of outlaws using that name, but nothing concrete. When he asked the eldest girl, Naomi, to explain, she hesitated, as though speaking the truth aloud might summon the very monsters she feared. Finally, she sat near the fire and lifted her chin. With the quiet strength of someone who had already endured too much, she told Cole the Black Wolves were not ordinary bandits. They raided both white settlements and Apache villages, killing men, stealing supplies, and kidnapping young women. But their raids were not random. They were searching for something sacred and ancient. Naomi said they believed in an old legend about a relic called the Heart of Thunder, an artifact hidden deep in the Apache lands. To find it, they needed 7 maidens for a ritual. The girls Cole saved were meant to be the offering. Cole tried to hide the disbelief on his face, but Naomi saw it and placed a hand on his arm. "They are not just thieves," she whispered. "They are something else now, something dark." Before he could respond, a sharp metallic sound struck the wooden door. Cole moved quickly, swinging it open with his gun drawn. No one stood outside, only the quiet rustling of the night wind. But embedded in the center of his door was a long hunting knife, its handle carved with the mark of a snarling wolf. Attached to it was a piece of torn cloth scribbled with a single warning: "Return the girls, or burn." Cole stared at the message, anger burning in his chest. He turned back toward the house, ready to warn the girls, but he didn't need to. They already knew what this meant. The wolves had found them. That night, Cole kept watch while the girls hid beneath the floorboards. Hours passed in tense silence until flames suddenly erupted outside. The black wolves had come in force, riding through the night like shadows, setting fire to anything they touched. Cole grabbed his rifle and stepped into the blaze, determined to protect the girls, no matter the cost. Cole and the 7 Apache girls moved through the desert at dawn, their silhouettes cutting across the crimson horizon. The black wolves had burned his ranch to the ground, leaving nothing but smoking ruins behind. And Cole knew staying anywhere near civilization would only put the girls in danger. Their only chance was to find the wolves' hideout and end this madness before the gang reclaimed their captives. Even with the fire of determination burning inside him, Cole couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Every sound, the distant cry of a hawk, the shifting of stones under their boots, even the sigh of the desert wind felt like a warning. The girls stuck close to him, exhausted, but driven by fear and the hope he represented. By midday, the group reached the entrance of Echo Canyon, a place so quiet it felt like they had stepped into another world. The towering canyon walls stretched so high they nearly blocked out the sun, and each step they took echoed back in long, haunting whispers. Strange symbols carved into the red stone caught Cole's attention. They were Apache markings mixed with newer, harsher carvings that resembled scratched wolf heads and twisted shapes that made the skin crawl. Naomi, walking beside him, stiffened when she saw them. "This was a holy place," she said softly. "The wolves defiled it. They're close." Cole signaled for silence. A few moments later, he caught the faint glint of metal on the ridge above. Instinct kicked in. He grabbed the nearest girl and pulled her behind. A rock just as the first gunshot rang out. Bullets shattered the stones around them, sending sharp fragments flying. Cole fired back, ducking low and shouting for the girls to take cover inside a small cave near the canyon wall. They sprinted inside, trembling but alive. Cole retreated with them, his rifle still hot from the rapid shots he'd taken. Inside the cave, the air felt thick and cold. The girls clung to each other, their breaths shallow and nervous. As Cole moved deeper into the darkness, his boot hit something soft. When he knelt to see what it was, his stomach tightened. Scattered across the ground were pieces of clothing, Apache dresses, beadwork necklaces, medicine bags, all belonging to women who had never made it back home. A few of the girls began to cry, whispering the names of missing sisters, cousins, and friends. Cole's jaw clenched with fury and grief. He promised himself none of these 7 would share that fate. As they moved farther into the cave, they found a chamber glowing with a faint blue light. There, resting on a stone pedestal, was the Heart of Thunder. It pulsed like a beating heart, casting unnatural shadows on the walls. Naomi gasped in disbelief, her voice trembling as she explained the relic. It was supposed to be hidden far from all human hands. Before Cole could respond, a violent rumble shook the cave. Dust rained from above, and then a deafening blast echoed through the cavern. Cole's eyes opened to darkness, broken only by the flicker of torches. A throbbing pain pulsed at the back of his skull as he pushed himself up from the cold stone floor. The cavern around him was massive, shaped like a natural cathedral hidden beneath the desert. As his vision sharpened, his gut twisted, he saw the 7 Apache girls bound once again, their wrists tied to carved poles set around a raised stone altar. The air smelled of smoke, blood, and damp earth. Low chants echoed through the chamber, their rhythm slow and ominous. Cole struggled against the ropes binding him, but they were tied with skilled, merciless precision. Then a tall man stepped into the torchlight, dressed in black leather with a long preacher's coat and a wolf skull, amulet around his neck. He was unmistakably the leader of the Black Wolves, known only as the Preacher. His eyes were cold and bright, the eyes of a man who believed the darkness he served was righteous. He approached Cole with a smirk that revealed no humanity. "You've done well, Maddox. Better than you know." Cole glared at him, spitting blood from his mouth. The preacher continued, pacing slowly. "The relic needs purity to awaken. 7 maidens, and 1 righteous man to witness the offering. Your presence completes the ritual." The girls trembled, but their fear slowly turned to defiance as Naomi met Cole's gaze. She was silently telling him to stay strong. The preacher raised a rusted ceremonial blade, lifting it toward the glowing heart of thunder placed on the altar. The relic pulsed faster, as if sensing the evil surrounding it. Cole pulled and twisted his wrists until the rope bit deep into his skin. He didn't care. Pain meant nothing if he could save the girls. One of the smaller girls shifted her hands slightly. Cole noticed she was slowly loosening the knot behind her back, her fingers moving with desperate determination. The preacher began chanting louder, holding the knife over the altar. The moment his attention lifted from them, Naomi whispered one sharp word to Cole, "Now." With sudden coordination born of terror and courage, the girls broke free. One threw herself at the nearest guard, biting and clawing. Another snatched a fallen knife. Naomi cut Cole's ropes with furious speed. He grabbed the guard's revolver before it hit the ground and fired twice, dropping 2 wolves instantly. Chaos spread through the cavern as the gang scrambled, caught off guard by the girls' ferocity. The preacher lunged toward the relic, screaming, "The power is mine!" But before he could touch it, Cole tackled him. They slammed into the altar, fists and fury colliding. The heart of thunder pulsed violently, releasing a blinding shockwave that cracked the stone beneath their feet. The preacher fell back, reaching for his gun, but Cole fired first. The leader of the Black Wolves collapsed with a final broken snarl.